Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I really am not sure how I feel about this little layout. It's the best lighting that I get, but I don't know. The sun was sun in today too, so you can kind of see her peeking through, but she was too sunny today. So I'm grateful with the lighting we have though. But welcome back to my channel. We're going to be discussing another little video diary today. This is our sixth one. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for being this consistent. Most of the time I would have dropped off and disappeared. But I've actually had a substantial amount of energy to kind of go through these. And I really, really want to catch up, but I do think that this is going to be um, where we pause a little after, just so I can focus on some other kind of video concepts that I'm really itching to get my hands on. But with that being said, if you haven't been here before, welcome with my terrible half heart. But we have just been discussing kind of the months as they've been throughout the year, in correlation with kind of music that has come out within that month as well. Of course, the videos are a little bit biased because they're based on my tastes. So a lot of the playlists are a little bit more alternative forward. But I listen to everything. Like I listen to a little bit of everything truly. So if you are looking for new music, that you are in the right place. If you like talking about new music, you're also in very much the right place. So, with that being said, let's talk about the music of the month of June. This episode is The Vision of Euphotic Rays. We always discuss our title, and I feel like a bit of a fool right now, but Vision of Euphotic Rays is actually the title I wrote last month. Last video, we were talking about the title and how I had a story about the title. And as a matter of fact, I get too ahead of myself sometimes, and that was very representative of that because this is the title that I really had this idea of the sun beaming down on the water kind of thing. And so this is kind of that playlist where I couldn't really figure out the photo concept correctly. I did get something, and I do love the picture that I have for this month. Um, it just wasn't, I think, what I was necessarily expecting. Um, but yes, same thing with like the pink pixelated clouds. I want to say that was the concept for July, and I'm talking about it in May for the month of May. So, anyways, this is why I really, really want to like get myself caught up so that like once next year starts, I can have more of a scheduled video diary for you guys where at the end of the month you would actually have that video that month and it will be current, like this is just more me reflecting on the months rather than it being super current because obviously we're in October barely talking about the summer. But there's also something really nice about reflecting on things and making sure you give yourself time to actually look back because if you're a person like me who does not tend to look back often, I think it's nice to once in a while. Everything's a balance, and some people stay looking back, some people never look back, some people always worry about the forward. You can't do it all. So, Vision of Euphotic Rays, this title interchanged a lot. If you haven't seen my last video, I recommend you go watch it. There's a bit of a story on the discovery of the playlist title. But Vision of Euphotic Rays was really short and concise and just perfect for what I needed. I feel like June was the most lax summer month we had. It still sort of felt like very late spring. Um, there wasn't too much going on early summer just yet, but it'll be nice to see kind of what pops up in my head and reminds me as we go through the music. Because also, if you're anything like me, music will help you remember things. So that was the title. Um, to talk a little bit about the picture, because we like to discuss the photography. The photography is very important here. But I had taken this very beautiful picture. We were on the bridge downtown Chicago. Um, and this just reminded me of like perfect summer. Like Chicago, summer in Chicago is so fun. And like my true dream come true will be living elsewhere, but coming home to Chicago for the summer because like Chicago just knows how to party in the summer. Like I I don't know what to tell you guys. You can do anything. You can go on a boat, you can I don't know, and just like our nightlife, I mean, it's not New York nightlife, like we're not 24/7, but if you know how to find it, you can have a good night every night. And I just think of Chicago as these like endless opportune moments, and I don't know, like it's essential for the city experience to view it at night. And the city lights reminded me of these rays, and they're everywhere. There's so much of them, even though the darkness is so vast. Um, so I think it really represented this idea that I had for the euphotic rays. Um, and yeah, specifically, the term euphotic is also correlates with water. Um, and if you think of water and how vast the ocean is, it is mostly dark, but you have these beams of light that are just beautiful. And nothing has spoken to me more this year than like the kintsugi of it all. Like life will crack you down, but you patch yourself back up, and those are where you can see those little moments of light within you, within your strength and things like that. And I think that's really important. Um but that's really about the cover. You know, for me, I've seen this picture so much. I never really took it quite this way exactly. And for me, because I'm so familiar with my home, like it's nothing extravagant for me. But like I have looked at how every playlist looks next to each other. And I mean, this photo is just as good as the next one. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. So I still really love this picture. And I actually interchanged the photo a lot. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of might need to just straighten it a little bit. But other than that, it's a gorgeous picture. It like it encapsulates the vibe so well. Okay. With each video, if you guys don't know me, but I like to write. I like to write poetry. I also like to write, little musical blog segments. And this is our blog portion. This is what the description of this month is for me. And this is actually more set in real time. This playlist is vibrant, expansive, and summery with a grasp of melancholia. It feels like the onset of something, almost, but not quite yet reached. If the first 3 weeks of June have offered me anything, it has been a bit of sunshine and heat from underneath a body of water. I am reminded that things are the way they are, and letting things just come as they may often grant the beauty in things. I may be quiet and sound, but I have never felt more present than where it matters most. Things I have so desired are reaching me and giving me a kind of peace I have truly desired. But it is only step one. Originally, I felt as though I'd like to be in a rave that's underwater, and while dancing may truly save us, it's been a better harmony to see it all at once and even shift its perspective a bit to look upward and see the rays of the sun through the glimmery clear water. Like I've said before. Sounds from Raveenas, Foster the People, Leon Haregi, and Czech keep its warmth and things feel. Sorry, guys. keep its warmth for things to feel breezy and beautiful. The Killers, Lana, Marina, and others allow for a bit of nostalgia. Moments that are reminded to be special like little light gleams. Then, the Marias, cigarettes, and London Grammar keep this submarine like quality for an aquatic layover. Everything else just made this one truly breathe and expand to where it needed to be, and I hope you all may find something you need as well. Always with love, Fabian. And that's important. I hope you guys know I pour a lot of love into these videos, specifically for myself. Um, but there are also moments of love for you guys to have. And this is the best bit of way that I can think of showing kind of my love for others is a little bit through these things. I think this is true. Like, June was just quite simple. This was also a very simple kind of thing to kind of discuss. I liked that this one has also a bit more of a blend of, the mentioning of the artists with life. Specifically, like, I think it explained this really well that, like, summer is still an uplifting thing. And so it was important for this playlist to feel like something uplifted, even though the cover is really dark. All the little gleams of light that we're talking about, they just sparkle. So like when you're listening to it, you have this extension feeling of the underwater aquatic like feeling that we carry over from last playlist into this one. It's still there. And when I thought of the concept of last month's playlist for August, I'm sorry, for May, sorry guys, we've got a lot of things to talk about, so my brain's everywhere. But for the last playlist that we talked about, um, the Marias really originally inspired that concept because yeah, they were coming out with singles throughout the year, but it wasn't until this the end of May that their album came out, and so like by that point I had already passed. It's one of those situations where that album came out very late in the month, so it really was a June album for me. And yeah, I just like that. But there was a lot of other artists that actually carried that kind of feeling as well. So usually we go with a flow of, I talk about the flow of the playlist first, and then we'll discuss some albums afterward. Let's talk about the albums real quick first. We're gonna change it up today, guys. Since we already discussed the Marias, let's talk about their album a little bit. I really think that the Marias should be considered for some type of Grammy. Um, I think that their best is yet to come, like artistically, but I try to teach myself not to go too far ahead. Like, we have to be in the present, right? June Fabian was really good about being in the present, and being like 100% more focused and stuff. This fall has threw me back up in the air and in the clouds, and like we'll talk about that later. But Maria's was such a good onset, and they probably have had one of the most cohesive album rollouts of this year. Everything's been fun. Everything was really good paced. Like, even their tour was a really good pacing, because their full album came out, I want to say like a month and a half before their tour officially started. But it was like, we got Run Your Mouth, Lejos de Ti, um, If Only, and I think one other single. Two of them, one of them came out at the same time. I think it was Lejos de Ti and No One Noticed came out at the same time. I could be wrong about this. But anyways, just their visuals were so cute. Their album trailer was really cute. Their teasers before the music even started was really cute. Um, the videos, they all carry the same feeling that the album does. And then they were putting out, you know, their photo shoots, they're all underwater. The whole band is underwater. It's like so cool. Which they use as their profile picture, and that makes a lot of sense because it should be. It's all of them. I really, though, wished the album cover itself was one of these photos with the entire band underwater. I think it just would have looked really nice. It would have worked really well. Their album cover is still really cool. And because if you're like an insider fan of the Marias, they are doing like a trilogy almost with their last album, Cinema. This one's Submarine. I'm not sure how they're all going to correlate exactly. I think it's just like thematically, like they might all, like it might be a trilogy of like themes. Because this one was underwater, whereas like last one was more of like an homage to cinema type of thing. And it was really pretty. It was really cute. I kind of miss cinema era too. But so it'll be interesting to see what like the final part of the trilogy is. And I think that's probably why I have a thing with looking ahead when it comes to the Marias. But if you're watching the last videos, Blue just has me. So Blue carried over into this month for color, for color fans. Um, Blue is a big theme here as well, but it wasn't the center of everything. Like it was just meant to be like, hey, like this is still a part of everything. Like it's probably always going to be a part of it. Um, but they came out with one hell of an album, I will say. Like they really should be considered for something. So there was a couple of songs on here on this playlist from the Marias, just because their album did come out May 31st, very last day. So they led this playlist. They did lead the playlist. They let the kind of instruction of it, I guess, would be a good way to put it. What else can I say about their album cover though? Lots of favorite songs. And it was a grower of an album, interesting enough, I will say. This record is truly like, I want to say 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give Submarine like a 9 out of 10 currently. I'm going to give Submarine a 9 out of 10 currently. Don't know why. Like, because I want to say 10 out of 10, but something. I just can't. I just can't vocalize or put my finger on it just yet. But yeah, album cover, gorgeous, beautiful. She's literally looking up, like they're clearly in a pool, and she's looking up at the light, guys. She's in the euphotic rays that I'm talking about. Um, so this represented really, really well. Um, right off the bat, when I heard the album, I loved Love You Anyway. I was already obsessed with No One Noticed because it came out as a single and no one was talking about it. And then all of a sudden, everyone loved the song. Um, Run Your Mouth, loved it immediately, but I definitely overplayed Run Your Mouth since it was a single. Like, it was the thing I played the most before the album came out. Lejos de Ti grew on me, and that is a gorgeous song. Gorgeous. And If Only also grew on me in a different way later. Like, I loved it right away. It's very haunting. It's such a haunting song. But then they came out with their little video for it, and she's swinging on this chandelier. And I'm just like, you're just giving me everything that I want, huh? So, and I'll take it. Those are kind of my thoughts on the Maria's album. 9 out of 10. Love the color. Love the favorite theme of the year. Like, hands down, favorite theme of the year. Like, also the font and just like the marketing of the album. Like, hands down, so, so good. Maria herself, she is just a stunning woman. She's so fucking pretty. It's like actually unfair. Like we should be angry because she's so pretty. Um like if not a singer, like the models should be afraid because she could be a model. Even the band members are kind of hot. So, it's really nice. But you can tell that they work really well together as a band. Um but yes, we also had the privilege of seeing the Marias in concert, but I think I'm gonna do like a concert conversation with you guys one of these days. Just all the concerts I've been through this year, so we'll save that conversation for another time. Um, let's get this one over with. Brat. Let's talk about Brat. Charli XCX has never been my girl. She has never been for me. I have grew to appreciate her over the years. And I've known who Charli XCX is for like over a decade. You know what I'm saying? I've had many opportunity to go through her music and revisit it and revise it, and there is just a quality to like hyper pop that isn't for me. There is like this element of disruption that isn't enjoyable for me in everything. And it's crazy because I love electronic music. I love EDM. And there are moments where I like it, and then there's moments where like it's just a little too much. And I lived with a roommate. Well, I actually lived with two roommates at a time. And this is kind of when I was opening up to the idea more. So we all knew Charlie's boom clap. She didn't like, she was never going to be that girl that was going to go into the pop star world. Um, and I'm not giving hater right away, okay? So just like bear with me in this conversation. But the point is, I want you guys to have background that like I am aware of my history, like I am aware of our girls, and I give everybody a fair chance. And music is different for everybody. So like if something isn't enjoyable for somebody, like it's no big deal. Okay? Sorry, when you have ghost glasses on. But I really liked a couple of things. I wasn't there for her early pop stuff at all. No, no, no. Um, then she went more down her authentic route with like, her little Vroom Vroom EP, which was cute. At the time, it was like one of the most annoying things to me. But her little video for that thing is so cute. And just the concept alone of like just this little car EP, like homage, it's cute. It's like a campy thing. So I respect it, but still, like, the music's not for me. Mm, Pop 2 came out, and like everyone at the time was like trying to tell me like what kind of like Bible it was, and like game changer and blah blah blah. And there's a couple of tracks on there, like maybe like two that I was a fan of. Um I don't remember what Charlie came out with next. Maybe she could be a history lesson one day, but doubtfully. So let me just get this out right now. I guess during COVID is when I gave her more of an opportunity and like revisited her in depth. She came out with How I'm Feeling Now, and it was a really cool concept album. Wasn't the biggest fan of like the all white cover, but I did think that a lot of her sounds that she was experimenting with felt a little bit more blended finally. And so there was a good like half of that album that I like respected for sure. Obviously love Visions. I can't see somebody not liking Visions. Um Even the opening song, the pink one, I forgot what it's called. But um like there's just a couple of things on there that I really liked. And so after that, I've given her more of an opportunity. She does just feel like a normal person like the rest of us, which is like the really cool thing. And then she came out with the record with her Bob, and that one was actually more of a pop record. It had Christine and the Queens on there. That one was okay as well. I will say, like, I really, really am a fan of Crash. Like, I don't think she had too many misses on Crash. And I know it was like a purposeful, satirical, like pop record, but she still like made it like a hot girl kind of thing. Um, and I knew she was just like proving her label wrong. Like I could do this kind of thing, like if I wanted to, but I've chosen not to the whole time. And I respect the rebellion just because that has been me all my life. Um, Doing things differently than I'm told just because I know that I have a better perspective on it, and a more authentic one. And like, especially when it comes to art, like it shouldn't be a rule that artists have to fit their art in a category in order to be successful. I do think that authenticity is the most successful resource you could have. And so this is getting somewhere. But I did really love pop. I'm sorry. I did really love Crash, and I do kind of wish Crash got what this got. But the thing is, Crash did do well. Crash was successful, and she got freed. She was independent. She took her little time to herself, and she saved all of her good ideas for Brat. And so I will say, from a marketing standpoint, Brat is the most successful marketing album of the year. I originally would never have put Brat in a category where I would give it an album of the year, but artistically, authentically, and in terms of what we know as originality, I do think Charli has that the most. She is probably the most original artist of our time at this moment. And I don't mean to take away originality from anybody else, but it's just like Charli is 1,000% in her own lane. Like, I see that. Not taking that away, no matter what. Um, and Brat is a very well done era, to say the least. With the Boiler Room sets, the Intimate Brat tour itself, and then the extension of Sweat tour. I think like all of that in conjunction with the album rollout, starting with like Von Dutch having that video. Also, this is coming off hot after like her Body's Bodies soundtrack. She had the song with Tiesto, Hot in It. Like, she just has this energy. And I don't know, there was a turning point for Charli where like the bad bitch energy with like the more cohesive music that she's been able to make, that all does well. And that's the stuff that I like and like can get into. Um I think that there was a bit more of an element of hyperpop in this OG Brat album. And I do think it's like a half and half album for me, like sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I liked a good 6 or 7 songs. Like, I loved Girl So Confusing before Lord was out with it, which that just made it like 10 times better, though, I will say. But it was already such a good song. I loved Mean Girls. I loved Apple before it became a fucking trend. You can ask my boyfriend. Um, because I was like, oh, I really like this song. And then he was like, man, that's like kind of like a skip. Like, you know, in the beginning of when Brat first came out. And everyone was having their favorites and stuff. And like everyone, you know, Back to Back is such a good song. And then like the deluxe came out, and I'm gonna be straight up, like, I didn't give the deluxe any attention, the like 3 extra songs that she put out, until like a month and a half later or something like that. And we were watching a music reaction because we love, you know, I don't just like to talk about music. I like to watch people react about music as well. Um, and we heard the deluxe songs in there, and I'm like, where the fuck, where are these? Why were these not on the official album? But Spring Breakers and Gas were like immediate hits for me, to be honest with you. So, yes, point of all this whole conversation is I have a very big respect and appreciation for Charli. She's also one hell of a performer. I got to see her live like 2 years ago, and like she just wasn't a person that I was ever seeking for, but I was completely blown away by Charli, I will say. Um, and she still isn't like at the top of a list for me. Like, I will listen to her music, I will give her streams, but she is not my first choice. And a lot of her music, I could just have a good time hearing it at the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she is other people's favorites. So like, you guys can have her. Don't be mad. Like, there's one less person out of your way. Okay. Do I feel like stripped away from opportunities? Like, did I have a Brat summer? No, I didn't. You know why? Because we live in 2024 and America sucks, and you know, nobody can afford anything. So no, I couldn't go to any Brat event or function, just because for me, the things that I do care about, you know, overshadowed a little bit more importance. But when it's all said and done, yeah, I do regret not having some type of Brat experience. So, wishful thinking. Hopefully, it extends a little bit further into next year. Um, it's a little bit of a frustrating feeling because, like, when things get over popularized so quickly, there is like a slight annoying thing about it. Like, I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but like when anybody gets like super popularized all of a sudden, it's kind of annoying. And so right now it's this stage of I am so annoyed with Brat. Um, like, not to be mean, but it's just everywhere, everything, everyone's stealing free promo marketing off of her, like in her defense, truly. Um, it's like culturally, it's like one of the biggest things to ever happen. Like, it's everywhere. You cannot tell me that everybody on this earth does not know what Brat is right now. It's not that big of a deal, right? So I shouldn't be getting so overly passionate about it. But yeah, like, it was fun, and I think if it stayed a little bit more underground, it would still be more fun. But she deserves everything she's receiving, and I never thought I would be living in a time where like Charli is for sure getting her rewards, and she deserves this more than anybody. Um, Marina's right there though. I'm gonna be that person. Like, I'm sorry, Marina deserves her tens too. Except Marina's content with where she's at. And I respect that. And if I can keep Marina intimately for the rest of my life, I will. But would I love to see her on stadium status? Yes, I would. Um, but anyway, so there's that. There's Brat. Brat is, if you need a number, like a 7 out of 10 album for me. Whereas I thought Crash was more like an 8 out of 10. And yeah. But anyways, that's my opinion. That's what I think about it. We also have to talk about I do like to discuss albums that I maybe explored a little bit but didn't like really make it. Kaytranada, he had came out with an album, and I do like Kaytranada. I've seen him a couple of times. Like, I've been lucky enough to see him live. Always a good vibe. You cannot go wrong with house music. But he took a different direction on this album, and it wasn't for me. He went a little bit harder, like in in his own art, and everybody deserves that. To explore their emotions, especially. Oh, but yeah, everyone deserves to explore their emotions, and I don't know. It didn't stick with me. So I wouldn't give it a rating just because it's not fair. It would be up to somebody else who did listen to the album, did enjoy some of it, and can have like an objective opinion. But I wouldn't be giving you a good one, because it didn't really hit the mark for me. Normani came out with Dopamine, and Normani had no marketing plan for her album. And I really think that there's a couple of there. I mean, I have my own couple of theories. I do not know Normani as a person, just as I don't with any of these artists. These are just my thoughts. Um, but I feel that Normani has either overworked on this project for so long that like she became detached from it and just was finally like, just here, just have it. I'm not sure. Or it could be a thing where it's like, I just want to make the music and I want that to speak for itself, kind of like Beyonce does. Um, but like for a debut album, like I do think we deserved a bit more of an era or a rollout. Like, I don't know. I really loved her trailer. I got really excited for that album when she put out a trailer for it. But that was the only thing attached to it. There really haven't been any music videos um, that I can say for. I love the elements of the album cover, but I don't know if I'm in love with the album cover. Again, it's just an all white thing. And I don't know. I feel like there has to be a lot of footage in what they took for the trailer that could have been used. Even if we didn't get music videos or anything like that, we could have had visualizers for each song that could have been cut up into little small TikToks or reels, and Normani didn't have to do any of this. It could have just been somebody on her team that did this for her and layer it with her songs. And yes, it would have been simple, it would have been easy, but it would have given us more of, you know, what dopamine really is supposed to feel like, be like, because dopamine is happiness. It's that shot of happiness that your body gives you in release to an experience. And I liked the album. It was a very solid album, actually, but I would give it a 5 out of 10 because it's had no life. Like, unless you listen to it and you're just like, oh, I love this. This is the best album ever. Like, I'm just going to listen to this, only this. Of course, you're going to grow with it and have the time with it. But for me, I want to say like 2 songs felt like I could take it with me and last with them, you know? But because there wasn't a lot of excitement around the album itself, I just, we just, we just, dopamine just came and went, like, honestly. So it's not to be mean to her. And I also hope that, like, she's okay and that there's nothing really serious going on to where, like, it took her attention away from this. Um, I know what label she is with, so I can only imagine her pressures. I want to say she's with the same label that Doja is, and they overworked our girl Doja. And I just hope that they didn't put too much pressure on Normani. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, as far as an album, it was a very solid album. She did really good. Every song had really good elements to it. Again, not everything was for me, but I think that's one of those albums where if you visit it, something on that album is actually going to be for you. Like, there will be something for everybody. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on that one. Okay. The last album that I really do want to talk about is Raveena's album, Where Do Butterflies Go in the Rain? And this album, hands down, is like my favorite of the year. I was so I didn't expect anything. Um just because I've always loved Raveena. Like, she's always had this vibe. And this is an artist that my best friend showed me as well. And we went to her concert a couple of years ago, before COVID happened. And it was just such a lovely and warm experience. And it was just, it was so good. And she's just such a beautiful person and has turned into somebody that I look up to, on a spiritual level. And so, like, that's really important. Raveena is also really spread out through this playlist as well. Um, and this album, yeah, I don't know, it just caught me off guard. It had all the right elements. It's got, a little bit of R&B. It's got some alternativeness to it. There's a slight, very, very slight pop in it. Um, so much jazz, and it was just so warm, very uplifting, very real, very raw, and it just feels like the point of why people make music to begin with. That's how this album feels to me. Like, this felt like she just made music. That's it. That's all she wanted to do, was to make music, and sure enough, we fucking got it. And it feels like real magic. Like, I'm passionate about this. Okay? 10 out of 10 album. Like, 10 out of 10. Even for like the 2 songs that, like, I'm not a big fan of, it's a 10 out of 10 album. Okay? Um like, I want to say more about Raveena. Love the cover. It's beautiful. It's pink. She's slightly in it. There's blue in it. It's very inviting, like, everything about it. So, with that being said, though, let's get into the flow of the music and just have some little hangout time. I opened this one with Raveena's song called Rise. it's just beautiful. Like, I don't know. We talked about Krongbin a while back, and how like their album has elements I feel like this album had elements that I felt like Krongman also has, but this one had the way that I was looking for, which was shocking. I wasn't expecting it from Ravena. Though I shouldn't be surprised. The girl has made undeniably good, soothing, relaxing, heartfelt, spiritual music since she's honestly started. Munch. Oh, my papa, you were sleeping. Okay. But yeah, so with that. But this was a good one because it opened the playlist. It's called Rise. It feels like a sunrise almost. Um, Again, there is a melancholia to this playlist, and like it's not specifically outright like sad. Um, it's all undertoned, you know. Um, the next song I have on here is called Beautiful World by the Eves. The Eves is a second project from the band Machine Heart, and specifically the lead singer of Machine Heart, Stevie. She's had multiple projects throughout her career. Love her voice, and I think I will always follow what she does just because of her voice. And her and another one of the band members from Machine Heart paired off and started the Eves, and they have made not not a single skip, not a single skip have they made, and they covered Beautiful World. And it was just as warm. Sorry. This song I feel like is just as warm as Rise. It's crazy that like amidst all the chaos that is happening in life, that like we do remember the beautiful things. There are times where sometimes it is truly too much, that like the world doesn't feel beautiful, but it is. But I thought that was a really good song that like transitions. Everything else here had a pretty good flow. We've got the Marias Love You Anyway. This is such a Britney coded song to me. This is such a good song. It's so playful and campy. Her voice carries, man. Like, this is what I'm telling you. They could honestly win Grammy an Album of the Year award, and I wouldn't be mad. They would never because of the scammies, but maybe one day. But yes. The problem with showing you guys music is that like I would listen to the whole song and like show you the whole song if I could, because why the fuck not? But these first four songs really had this level of warmth to all of them that was really important for me. But the next song we had on here was Baby Blue Movie by Cigarettes After Sex, and I like Tejano Blue was good, and then they came out with Baby Blue Movie, and it was like, what the fuck, guys? This song could simply never be loud enough. Let me shut her off because we will listen to the whole thing. And we can't get into Siggy's right now. This song is adamant about playing right now. What the hell? I can't. Okay. So good. But everything had to be super light and warm because, right, summer. Like, this is a summer playlist. And maybe though we don't have like pop summer that we're thinking, we have this very nice flowy summer. And everybody just loved water and blue this year and that feeling. And I feel like Cigarettes After Sex has this natural underwater feeling. So, like, this paired so well. I went into this song by Omar Apollo next called Highlight. And this is a very summery song. Omar has a lot of music that is just completely overlooked. And like the popular things that get popular, like I understand why, but like nobody really respects and appreciates like his entire bodies of work. And he makes a lot of good music, especially some of his very more underground things. Um, and he was always really good about blending Spanish and English together. And I don't know, this song, it's called Highlight, just feels very summery to me. You're not a stranger. It's been a minute since I felt commitment. Mm. When you touch my body, feels like there's no parallels around me. Oh, I don't wanna leave no more. I just wanna stay in love. Stay in love. My best friend, yours feel like. But you guys see what I mean, right? It was short. It was supposed to give like a little bit of an interlude thing, but like pick up the energy. London Grammar. London Grammar, that is a band that a very dear friend of mine showed me a couple of years ago, and very like Florence and the Machine like basis, not completely, but their album really carried this strange like underwater tony vibe as well, but had that element of warmth. Um, and they came out with this song called "Kind of Man," which is beautiful lyrically, and then just goes off at the end. You kind of heard the intro. I'll show you this. There's me going ahead, and that was the wrong song, but I put that one in there because it's very summery. Um, then I have added in some more Ravena with her track Lucky. Lucky is a very gorgeous song, very beautiful message attached to it, and also warm. Like the whole playlist is warm, just so I'm not repeating that so much. Yeah, this song is just so beautiful and like spiritually struck me as well. Um, so like I think some more of those messages will start to like shine through. Very important. Then I started to add some darkness here. I've got some. This song "Paranoia" by the Marias is so good. God, this playlist was so summer. The thing is, like, I also feel like at times you like don't realize it. Like, you have one expectation of what summer is supposed to be, but this was such a good summer. Lose My Focus was also on Raveena's record, Where the Butterflies Go in the Rain. This song was just took me away the first time. It is also a little bit more on the pop side. Can't help but lose my focus. Can't help but lose my cool. Can't help but look this stupid. Can't help but wait for you. Focus on just on you. You guys, like, I just love this album. But yeah, that one took a little bit more of a spiritualness, and Crystal Fighters came out with this song, and I thought it was a good message, so I put it in here. Some more Marias. They're very present in the beginning of this playlist. They have some real life on here. Every night I'll hide just to see your eyes. It's so smooth. It's ridiculous. Which, by the way, all of the Maria songs go off in a different way. And what I didn't mention before when we were talking about their album, because I kind of mentioned that it's a grower of a record, every song that they put out just got better with each listen. And I almost wished that they put their rollout like one song at a time, just because every song was so good. They all just needed its own singular focus. And I thought that that would have been really cool, but I also am not a fan of that. I do like everything at once. Um, so like, of course, Submarine is this just immaculate body of work right now, but it's not as easily digestible like on its first listen, if that makes sense. But every song on that album like completely changes and like goes off at the end. I don't want to show you guys everything just because if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. I did put Lana in here, Shades of Cool. She just feels like summer. Also, she just fit the vibe, and like, I don't need an excuse to put Lana Del Rey in anything. She is going to be wherever she wants to be at any given time because Lana has a song for everything. Oh. So the playlist kind of shifts a little bit here. Like, everything was very summery for a long time, and kind of there are moments where it like elevates and like is a bit more energetic, but it's tonality wise a little bit the same. I feel like this is where it starts to change. We start adding in a little bit more of the alternative side. And yeah. So Insomnia by Normanis on this. So good. Like, Normani made one hell of a song when she wrote this one. It's so good, and you guys can start to hear the subtle guitar peeking through. You know, when Normani threw some guitar in here, I was going to fucking love it. Let's go find it. Do you hear what I'm saying when I can tell you that an instrument will evoke an emotion that you are specifically looking for? This guitar bit sounds so much like a throwback to something, and I don't know. Put Normani back in a girl group, give her that fucking guitar, and I want to see her in like some badass fucking leather suit fucking shredding a guitar. Like I need to see it happen now. Ugh. The cover is actually really good. I just wish it wasn't a white border. Like the whole rocket is really cool. She looks sick as fuck. She looks so fucking hot. Like I'm sorry. I can yeah. No, this song tore down. Every song on this playlist so far has actually been really good. It's definitely one of my underrated playlists from myself. Like I don't give this one as much credit as I should. Vicious Scented Robot is kind of like the closer of the Maria's segment. But yeah, we went into Vicious Sensitive Robot, which is a little bit more alternative for the Marias, like in that record. Obviously, I found some more like indie-ish tracks to throw in here as well. This is where I tell you guys, like, I don't remember some things that I listened to or put on here because I don't remember this. Now I do. Yeah, this was so summer. It ended like a campiness. That flowed into the Killers. Why do I keep counting? Is such a good song, but it started to bring in this melancholia that I was talking about a little bit more. And like things we're thinking about. This song has some good questions and some good conversation topics, and it's cool. And it's a good fucking song. I don't know if I can use them. Strong enough, stronger than the one. Will I live to have some children? Children. If I only knew the answer, and if all our days are numbered, then why do I keep counting? My sugar is sweet, it's so attainable. This song is also a little bit campy. It was so good to come off of the last song, which I don't know if I'll keep forever, but like it fit the vibe. Um, this song is Weird Fishes slash Arpeggi. It is a cover of Radiohead's song, but it's by this band called Freako, and they just did it so good. Like I actually listened to this a lot in the beginning of the year when I was first kind of going down my like alternative rabbit hole, and I brought it back into this one. It strips it back. Oh, the violin is so good, and they have a really good voice too. Like this song fits them very well, and it's hard because like I don't want to get rid of this version, but I don't want to have two of the same versions, and it is ultimately like very similar, like a very similar cover. But I don't know, it was slightly summary to me. Inner Wave was coming out with almost like a remixed version of their album Apoptosis. And so this was a really nice, dreamy kind of interlude. You get the picture though. False of the People started to roll out. Foster the People came at a time where I literally was like, man, you know who hasn't made music in a while and should have a comeback? Foster the People. And sure enough, they did it. Just like every other person this year, just decided to have an era of the sort, which I had complicated feelings around during their rollout, but they came out with Lost in Space and it was really fun. It feels like a very like jungle inspired kind of beat. It's a bit psychedelic. It is very upbeat. It still has their same campiness, which they have strayed away from a little bit more the past couple of projects of theirs, where um, they've been a little bit on the heavier, more alternative side. So it's nice to see them pick up some of their playfulness. But I'm not trying to overplay that song because we are trying to see Foster the People. We are seeing Foster the People. They are coming back. They are touring again. Get your tickets. Get on the road. Stream the album. We went into Less of You, which was just a good song to have the equal amount of energy. Very summer for Omar. There's also very pop of him. Um, that then went into Cherry Blossom with Empire of the Sun. They were also doing their rollout, and it just flowed. Cherry Blossom, top snow. Everything, everywhere, all at once, all the time. I love being beside you. It's just a feel good song, you know, very on theme. Smile for Me by Raveenas. Ugh. And we do it again. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. We can't keep talking about Raveenas. Into Gold, this is the song by London Grammar that I was talking about. This song helps to slow things down because, okay, so we went into this upbeat alternative thing. And Into Gold slows it down, but like keeps that energy the same. And this one is a bit more of a transition song as well. But this one has such a nice build up. Yeah. Hell yeah. It's just fun. It's a fun outro. We talked about this song. It was kind of a highlight. Mm-hmm. Is there time? Feels like there's things to say, but you're not mine. This is a good song to come down from after Integral because you thought you were gonna slow down and you don't. Also put in The Boy by The Killers. It just fit the vibe. It fit the nostalgia factor. This song I will always relate to on a level like give yourself some time. Ugh. Gotta keep that like semi-melancholic vibe, but like still upbeat, like it's the summer. And also, I had some of the onset of The Killers in here just because like I knew I would be seeing them live. And so I wanted some incorporation of them. Like they still matter to me. Like they're very important to me. Okay. Then I put some Zoo in here. She elevated the playlist to we went into this like electronic like segment because summer's important to dance in. So I put Mean Girls by Charli XCX on here. She mentions Lana Del Rey in this, and it's a good song. Tovolo came out with an EP with S.G. Lewis, and this was such a good song. Let Me Go. Oh, oh. Cover was hot. And ended the segment a bit with some more Zoo. So yeah, you go into this like very electronic era. I ended it out with Charli XCX Girl So Confusing with Lord. Originally, at the time, it was her standalone, but we changed it. Crumb is the artist. This song is called From Outside a Window Still. Slowed it down. Needed some good alternatives, instrumental. And this was just good to like come to after like coming down from things. I've got Golden Veins from Tudor Cinema Club. Some other throwback bands. Glass Animals was on here, but Glass Animals will be a conversation in the future. Troye Sivan put out a little remix, so I put that remix on here. Headlights on here. This was a very summery song. This is a little more towards the end of this playlist. That song was pretty cool. I went on more and more alternative route. It gets a little bit loud. There's still electronic elements in it. It's slightly disruptive, but not like aggressive. I found this cool little EP from an artist named Ebb. It's unique for sure, but it also acted as a bit of an interlude, and it was different. I don't know. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was cool to transition into. With that though, like the last two songs that I had were "I Love You But I Love Me More" by Marina, and "Water" by Ravena. "Water" by Ravena closed this one out, and sorry I rushed through the end of those songs there at the end. I feel like you guys kind of get the idea. "Water" was perfect because it just closed everything out the way that I needed it to close things out. And she gets like disruptive and distorty towards the end of this, so it's really cool. And it kind of ties a lot of these elements together. But yeah, I just I really loved this specific playlist. Definitely underrated, like I said. It's very summery, so like this would be a good playlist to come back to in the summer. It's got the right energy going on. The like slight sadness is there, but like you have to kind of dig for it a little bit, I feel like. But I do like the energy. I like how playful it is. I like how fun it is. Ravena. I don't know. If you like Ravena, you just gotta listen to the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. I like the elements to this one. It's a lot. It is a bit longer of a playlist, I think, but like the songs are a bit shorter here, so like there's just more songs. Um, but it's still under like 2.5 hours, so it's really nice. And sorry, but yeah. So I don't know. Sorry to rush this one a little bit here at the end, but I feel like it's a good place to kind of, lean out with. We've kind of talked about a lot, discussed a lot. It's nice to reflect on the month. She was a little bit more of a simple summary month, but like she was a really good place to start. But yeah, so that's with this conversation today. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys like the title. Maybe you like the cover a lot. Let me know what kind of your favorite element to this playlist was. Um, if there's any music that you did see this month that you kind of enjoyed, let me know. Let's have a conversation in the chat. Um, but yeah, again, this is our last video for a couple of weeks, and I will pick back up on the rest of the year a little bit later, but I think we're going to be focusing on some deep dives, maybe some relaxing content, maybe. But I definitely want to do some deep dives, and I've got some other ideas that we've got to get through. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.